a lot of drilling's been done there, a lot of met work to understand exactly how you'd process it, and we've already shown the ability to take that project through to battery grade. So it's one of the few projects globally that can precipitate battery grade carbonate.
Hello and welcome to the Assay TV, where today we are at 121's mining investment event in Cape Town. We are joined by Simon Clarke, the CEO and Director of American Lithium. Welcome.
Hi Katie, nice to meet you.
Today.
Glad to be here. So
the company is a Canada-based explorer and you're in the business of developing lithium projects, is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Can you just give us a quick recap of some of your projects in the company?
Yeah, so we own two large-scale lithium projects. We own the TLC project in Nevada, just outside the town of Tonopah. It's a claystone deposit. And we also have the Falciani hard rock deposit in southern Peru. It's a hard rock, a unique style of mineralization in a volcanic tooth. And we actually also have a third asset, which is a uranium asset, which we own for historic reasons. And we announced recently we would spin that into its own vehicle because it doesn't really sit long-term in a lithium developer.
Okay, so you recently mentioned the Tonopah Lithium Claims. You recently also announced a maiden PEA. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Yeah, that was we were very happy with that process. We took a lot of time to pull the report together because we really wanted to understand the style of mineralization and exactly how we were going to produce from it. And the real goal was to produce a robust economic study using conventional technologies, best of breed. Didn't want to be dependent on anything new development, and so the PA more than achieves that. You end up with about an NPV of about 3.3 billion, an IRR of about 28%, and production that ramps up from 24,000 to 48,000 tons in years 5 to 6, and produces a high purity lithium carbonate.
So you've mentioned that ramp up. How are we going to get there? What are the next steps?
Well, so the first phase is about 820 million capex. So we have to raise that capital, to build it. Once we're through feasibility, now that we've done the PEA, we go through feasibility. Then we look to build a mine and finance that, and then move into production. And as we move through those first few years, through the cash flow and additional capital, we then deploy further capital to expand the processing side of the project, which allows us to increase the throughput and take production from 24,000 tons a year to 48,000, which would put it as one of the biggest projects out there.
You sound very planned out, very organized with this project as well.
Well, it's, there is a typical process you follow. I mean, the interesting thing with lithium is it's quite a immature market still. And so in terms of where you raise that capital from, we've seen the US government providing a number of our peers significant amounts of money. And you just saw GM put a lot of equity into Lithium Americas at Thacker.
Critical mineral in the US,
It is a critical mineral in the US. So it's getting a lot of focus and a lot of funding, both from industry and government.
Excellent. So you've also commenced some EIA drilling at your Falciani project. Can you go into that, please?
Yeah, sure. So Falciani is a little bit further ahead in terms of the development cycle than TLC. A lot of drilling's been done there, a lot of met work to understand exactly how you'd process it. And we've already shown the ability to take that project through to battery grade. So it's one of the few projects globally that can precipitate battery grade carbonate, through the flow sheet. So, for us, really at Falciani, the goal was to put it into feasibility. And to do that, we've launched our environmental impact assessment, which also allows us to do some further drilling at the project for hydrological and environmental purposes primarily, but it also allows us to understand the deposit further and to expand the deposit footprint. So it's a big process. We would hope to get through pre-feasibility at Falciani as we move through this year, and then drive it from beyond that into bankable fees.
So you're planning on being in the epicenter of the EV green transition then, by the sounds of things?
Absolutely. You know, both projects are very scalable. Falciani actually, we think, can be one of the biggest projects on the planet, potentially as much as 100,000 tons of lithium carbonate a year.
Yeah, substantial. And when can we expect an updated PA, do you think, for Falciani?
For Falciani, well, as part of the pre-feas process, as we do more drilling and expand the work that we've been doing on the flow sheet, we will look to update the original PEA as part of that. Just to give you a snapshot, the economics on that PEA had about a 1.5 billion net present value, but that was at old lithium pricing from 2 years ago. If we take the price of lithium carbonate from 12,000 to 20,000, you more than double that NPV.
Yes,
so
market's crazy.
It makes sense to do that. And I don't think we're going to see lithium prices go back to where they were anytime soon, if at all. So
do you think the market's going to remain quite like
I mean, I don't think it'll necessarily remain quite as high as it is, but it's not going to go anywhere near the lows where it was previously, which is why at TLC we used a price of 20,000 a ton. And as I say, if you apply that to Falciani, you'll more than double the existing NPV on the project. So makes sense to update the PEA as part of the move through feasibility.
So let's circle back a bit to your uranium project, Macusani.
Yes.
Tell us about that spin out.
Yeah, so Macusani, I mean, we acquired a company called Plateau Energy in 2021, and they had both the Falciani deposit, which is what we were primarily focused on, but they also had the Macusani Uranium Project. Originally, that company had been focused on uranium until they discovered Falciani. So they built a really nice deposit. It's really, it's got great operating cash, costs of about $17 a pound, which makes it one of the best projects globally. It has a simple flow sheet, and it's at 124 million pounds. It's one of the biggest undeveloped projects out there. So it's a great project, but we don't get any value for it in a lithium developer. And it's not getting the focus that it should. So our goal is to spin it into its own listed vehicle so that it can drive its own business plan and really unlock the value that a project of that size should have.
Excellent. Well, just to round things up, we have to mention NASDAQ. Recently listed. What does that mean for American Lithium?
For us, we have a lot of US shareholders. You know, when we came out with our resource at Tonopah in 2020, attracted a lot of domestic attention. Critical minerals was really just becoming a major talking point, and we attracted, you know, I think close to 50,000 US retail shareholders. And we felt it made sense to have a proper exchange, you know, for them to, I shouldn't say a proper exchange, but a higher exchange for them to trade their stock on domestically. And NASDAQ also opens us up to a lot of US funds that wouldn't necessarily look at us. And it also raises our profile globally, which is obviously what we want to do as we continue to grow out these projects.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much for spending some time here and chatting to us.
No
Sounds
problem.
like there's a lot of news flow.
There's a lot of news flow, a lot happening, and
we'll have to speak again soon.
Yeah, it sometimes spins my brain about everything that we're working on, but it's good.
Well, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the event.
Thank you very much.